they asked us, a guy in Leuven made this, and he made this as a hobby during 2.5 years. He spent his time on making this diorama. And this diorama is representing the shelling of the castle of Beersel in 1489. Now, we purchased the grounds behind the brewery in a couple of years ago, and these grounds actually, when we did some research after buying this and putting it here, and we bought it because it's the logo of the brewery, it's our barrel logo as well, the Castle of Beersel, and we actually found out that the shelling of the Castle of Beersel, for the shelling of the Castle of Beersel, that the cannons were actually standing on the grounds behind the brewery. Because the cannons, they shoot like 600 meters far, and they did the second renovation phase of the Castle of Beersel a couple of years ago, and so they analyzed from where the impact was. They still found cannonballs in the walls of the Castle of Beersel, and with the range of the weapons, the ballistics, the studies around that, they measured the points where the cannons would be standing, and so they've analyzed this, and they found out that it are the fields actually behind the brewery on which we have our cherry garden. And if you look on the old maps, the yellow dot is where the brewery is, and then you see on the fields you have the name Schietveld, which means shooting field. So the map indicates that there was a shooting field in the past, because that has been passed on from generation to generation, the naming, and so it all corresponds. So now we're looking with metal detectors on the ground to find, we're looking for heathazer, which are metal made at that time that they could just make on the fields, and they made the cannonballs with it, but they also had the parts of their of the mold and everything to make the balls and to make the cannons were made of that type of iron. So we're looking these types of iron. We already found pieces, and we still need to date the pieces, but some pieces are looking quite interesting with carvings and everything on there, so nothing recent. So we want to see some physical proof as well, but this is nice for in the future. Once we have the bar of the brewery open again, we will be able to offer some more than just a brewery visit and a tasting. We'll be able to offer visits to the Castle of Beersel. People will be able to go through our cherry garden to the Castle of Beersel. We'll be able to add some history to the whole fact of the shelling of the Castle of Beersel.
So you might find some cannonballs out back then.
Well, normally they take everything away, but it can always be that they forgot one, if it rolls down the hill and they forgot one or something, but in general there are more small pieces that we will find. The cannonballs they found in the Castle of Beersel itself, of course, but they reuse always their metal, then they heat it up again, and they make new balls out of it. They always recycled, even the cannons. They broke after a couple of bombardments, so they melted it down again, and then they made new cannons out of that. So because I mean it was precious material, but you have to. There were about maybe 50 cannons or something, but that means that there were a couple of hundreds of people here and horses here, because you need people that make the fire. They need to construct the ovens, they need to construct all the material to make the cannonballs, and then need to make a huge fire. They need to cut all the trees as well, because there was a forest here in the past, so they have to take away the trees that were standing in between the range to shoot to the Castle of Beersel. So a lot of people came, and there was only one way in the past, and that was the way. Like now we have the Laarheide. The Laarheide is actually a very old road now. Of course, there's asphalt. It's an asphalt road, but before there was one of the roads that was leading here, so it was easily accessible for the whole army for the shelling of the Castle of Beersel.
I mean, you're liable to find anything out there, coins or musket, guns.
We have some coins from the First World War that we found now, but we are looking precisely for that type of metal from the past. So we are not looking for other types of metals. So then we have to change the frequency.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that. We're not
Ah.
doing gold digging at the
Right.
moment. We're doing really research from 1489 to link pieces to the history. It would be fantastic if I find a gold box. I could invest immediately in a new brew house. But
And take lots of photos and put an exhibit in here about
Yeah.
that and how the gold,
yeah.
that would be cool.